Hello, my name is Shreya George, and I'll be doing my presentation on ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. So, what is ADHD? ADHD is a chronic neurodevelopmental disorder, so it is prevalent throughout a person's entire life. It doesn't go away or anything like that. And it affects how a person thinks, how a person behaves and acts. People who often deal with it, they have trouble keeping attention to certain things, or they display hyperactive and impulsive behaviors. There are multiple types of ADHD. There are mainly, well, no, there are three types of ADHD, which is inattentive ADHD, hyperactive impulsive ADHD, and combined. So, inattentive ADHD is when people have trouble paying attention to details and they have trouble completing tasks, following instructions. They seem like they get distracted very easily. They struggle with organization and time management and they lose things frequently. This type of ADHD is mainly uh, seen in girls or women, and because in their childhood they seem to be very closed or like shy and reserved, uh, it's never really properly diagnosed because of gender stereotypes. And the next one is hyperactive or impulsive ADHD. This type of ADHD is what is the most stereotyped whenever people think of ADHD. So they're always moving around, they're always squirming or fidgeting, they always have to do something. Um, they talk a lot, they're very talkative, they interrupt others, they are very impulsive, which means they act without thinking, and they have difficulties waiting for something or they get bored very easily. Combined ADHD, as you could tell from the name itself, it is when a person has symptoms, a mixture of the symptoms from inattentive and hyperactive impulsive ADHD. So they may get lost in their head a lot, or they can't pay attention a lot, or they have like bad time management and organization skills, but they're always moving and fidgeting and they always have to be doing something. That is an example of combined ADHD. So, it is important to know about ADHD because it affects 5 to 11% of children nationwide, and that is about millions of children. I would say about 6 million children nationwide have ADHD. ADHD is one of the most common and a very complex neurobehavioral disorder. It impacts children's and people's lives negatively, whether it's in their communities, at schools, with their families. Uh, it, it yeah, it often negatively impacts them. Um, Even if there are new studies about it, even when we're learning more about it, it is still very undiagnosed and very untreated to many, many children and people. And most of the time, especially minorities, they do not get diagnosed until they're well into their adulthood. So, as I was saying about the minorities that are less likely to get diagnosed are women and young girls, and basically any other race or skin color people that are not white or male. It could be there are many more contributing factors as to why people won't get diagnosed, but mainly it's because they're women or they have what is it? They have people in their communities or they just don't believe in it. Like Asian people, Hispanic people, um, a lot of them don't believe in mental health and don't believe in uh, these types of things, so they won't get their child diagnosed and only sees it as a behavioral problem. Religion also comes into factor, and also income, because a lot of people cannot like go out and get diagnosed even if they want to, because a lot of insurance companies won't cover it, which is why a lot of people don't get diagnosed until adulthood. Um, as I was saying, the people that are like most likely to get diagnosed with ADHD and able to receive treatment are boys or men that are predominantly male, not male, I'm sorry, white. So, how do counselors address this problem? They try to understand the barriers and communities. So, a lot of stereotypes, such as ADHD only looking like a kid that can't sit still and keeps on moving and keeps blurting out answers or something like that, and be able to address them and show them many other ways on how ADHD is present within their child and how to treat it in a way that is helpful for them. And then recognize that not all children of color have behavioral issues, so especially in black children, there is systemic racism that is often prevalent with some counselors, so they don't, whenever they see a child that often has trouble sitting still or blurts out answers, they just dismiss it or diagnose it as a behavioral problem, when it can actually be just ADHD and that's just how they work. And then to look more for inattentive ADHD. So a lot of girls don't get diagnosed uh, because of gender stereotypes, is that we need to sit still and be quiet and reserved. But in a lot of cases, it can be the child has ADHD and is often like dozing off, or they're very like disorganized and can all and later on, whenever these children don't get diagnosed, they grow up to have depression or anxiety, or uh, mainly depression and anxiety, because they don't know what is wrong with them. So, my personal thoughts on ADHD is that it is definitely a struggle to have, and it's very difficult to get diagnosed, especially with women and minorities. I've had some friends, or like, I've seen people who, especially like women, that had tried to get diagnosed, but then they'll be diagnosed with bipolar disorder or BPD, and after a while, it's after like only a long time that they figure out, oh, I just had ADHD and I'm not uh, having bipolar, or I don't have borderline personality disorders. Um, with newer studies, um, people, like, a lot of the stereotypes are coming down and people are starting to learn more about it, which I think it's good that people are learning more about, especially with like social media. People are able to be more informed about how it is. And those are just my personal thoughts. These are my references, and that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for uh, watching me, and I hope I did well. Thank you again.